and it's like you're there. Okay. My goal is to finish this paragraph and then talk about a little bit about cults. And then if any of you remember, your homework assignment was to find in your life an example of some sort of divine intervention, something where you felt spiritual, like a weird situation that you felt the holy. And I'd love to hear if any of you have that story. And then a little bit of work time, especially for those of you who signed up for a cult. And then I recorded scores for the chapter 14 and 16 tests. There were 4 mini tests.
Why?
They were due Wednesday. It doesn't matter, right? I might appear to be angry now. I'm not, right? It's just that a whole lot of you have a 0 right now because you didn't do it. You don't mind? I won't say any names. I'll just mention, I'll make a rhyme. Like somebody named Joseph isn't done. Bezra, nope. Laura, Maley, Nandrew, Mabitha, Sasman. And then there are some of you who think you're done, but you're not. Like somebody Cry.
I am done, by the way.
Nacy. Mallison. You're not done. You think you're done, but you're not. There were 4 tests. Some of you did 3. You're not done. You're almost done, but you're not done. Don't you want to improve your score? Do it. Okay. So let's finish this bad boy. Again, answer this question. Do you think the words should be removed? If you think the words should be removed, please pay attention to this column. If you think the words should not be removed, please pay attention to this column. Your topic sentence is where you're simply stating one of the reasons why some people think the words should be removed is because of the belief that the words are unconstitutional. Okay, that's your topic sentence. We already did this. We already did the context. Simply explaining any necessary definitions. What do you mean it's unconstitutional? What does that even mean? Well, it means that there's this thing called the First Amendment, which guarantees the separation between church and state. We already wrote the sentence, right? Hello? Yeah. Yes, we did. Thank you, guy who wasn't even here when we wrote it. The next thing is we're quoting from document 8. I believe this is where we kind of are, right? Okay. It is document 8, which we all have on this piece of paper. I have plenty of copies. Who needs another copy? It's in my hand. Do you want another copy? Because I have it right here. Don't feel bad if you need another copy. I have it right here. What you're telling me right now is you don't need this piece of paper because you got it already. Okay. The speaker is Michael Newdow. His credibility is he is the founder of the First Adventist Church of True Science. Joe told us that yesterday. Said. And then I think we went with the last sentence. Thus, when I see our Pledge of Allegiance containing the words under God, I see a gross violation of one of our foremost constitutional mandates, and you are typing that entire sentence out, the whole thing. Every word of the last sentence of document 8. You're typing it right now. If you're already done with it, awesome. And then at the end of that sentence, in parentheses, just put the number 8 because it's document 8. Here it is. Okay. How many of you need a minute to finish this up? You need a minute to finish this up. Okay. Only Joe. It's okay if anybody else? Easy? Okay. I'll give you a minute. The rest of us, let's just relax for a minute. Our goal is to finish this paragraph, and then let's get back to cults. Play the numbers game? The number game?
Oh, I've never.
Hold on, I'm gonna kick your butt then. Ready?
Wait, how does it go again?
So you can add 1 or 2 or 3 to the previous number, the other person's number. You can't say 21. If you say 21, you lose.
Alright.
All right. You want to go first or second?
You go first.
I'll go first. 2. Now you can say 3 or 4 or 5. Just can't say 21.
5.
5, 8. Now you can say 9 or 10 or 11.
11.
12.
13.
16.
You said even numbers.
19.
You said
No.
even numbers.
You lose.
Couldn't you say 22?
No, you can't go over like
Oh.
221.
Someone has to say.
Right. I mean, you can't go over 21. You ready?
Once you hit 8,
You wanna lose? Don't you have a sentence to write?
Yeah, but just give me one time.
Okay, do you promise that if you lose, you will, for the rest of the hour, just be the man? All right, you want to go first or second? I go first? 3,
6,
8,
10,
12,
13.
16.
Once he hits 8, you win.
No, you could.
I'm sorry, I can't quit.
17.
20. Joe is the man today. All right,
It's 8.
Let me say 16.
all right, one more time. You want to go first or second?
I'll go first.
All right, go ahead. 4,
6.
8,
9.
12,
13.
16.
Oh my god.
We got to finish this. 20.
Alright.
Isn't it so frustrating?
You hit
Right?
16.
There's a secret.
It's
You
8.
just don't know what it is. All right,
You say 8.
come on now, let's focus. All right, you're finished the red part. We now need to explain what it means. If you are agreeing, what you're saying here is Noob now believes that, and then finish that thought. Tell me what he's saying. Little Cindy Lou who is, wait, Joe, you said you would be the man.
Oh, yeah, I'm just going.
Why are you on your phone?
Looking up on the 20 game.
But you promised you'd be the man today.
I'm gonna be in there.
You promised. Okay. Little Cindy Lou Who has walked in the door, and I walked up to little Cindy Lou Who and said, "Little Cindy Lou Who, did you know that Michael Newdow said this? Thus, when I see the Pledge of Allegiance containing the words unto God, I see a gross violation of one of our foremost constitutional mandates." And she says, "What does that mean?" And I say, now, what were the words I just said? Type it. Newdow believes that. What? What does he believe? I'll give you an example. Newdow believes that you cannot utter the word God in a public setting like a school. There's a version. Come up with your own. Unless you really, really like my version. Then go ahead, use it. Fine. It's a sentence. Maybe two. Explain what Newdow means. One of the skills, I was annoyed when a teacher is like, you're working and a teacher won't shut up. But here we go. One of the skills you have to develop is the ability to say the same thing without saying the same thing. If the quote is, "He sure is tall," you have to say, what he means is, he ain't short. Okay? You said the same thing without saying the same thing. You need to do right now. What is Newdow saying? And that is true whether you agree with it or not. Doesn't matter. You're just clarifying what he means. Will you just give me a thumbs up when you're ready? Allow me to also say this. Thank you. You don't need to hit a home run here. I don't need the perfect sentence. I'm not worried about that. I'm worried about the process. Don't worry about writing the perfect sentence right now. You can revisit it, you can edit it, fix it. Just get something on paper.
So, for the right side,
You're also explaining what he means.
Okay.
You're just explaining what he means. Now you will attempt to prove him wrong in a bit, but for now, let's just say here's what he means. Then you'll prove him wrong. How are we doing? Thumbs up? Yep. Hey, you with the face. Thumbs up. AJ, we good? Good. Okay. Cool. Are you okay?
Yeah.
Should we thumb wrestle?
1, 2, 3, 4. I declare thumb war.
Really fun. I see you pulled the snake out. My thumb is tired. 1, 2. All right. Those of you who agree, this is going to be your example. Let me tell you a little story. The next 2 words that you're typing right now, go ahead and type it. Type the words for example, comma. For example. Now, let me tell you a little story. There's this judge. Just listen. Don't type anything. Just listen. There's this judge in Georgia, and he had the 10 Commandments, the mythical 10 Commandments, right? On a wall in his courtroom. Okay? A courtroom is a public setting, just like a school is a public setting. And he had the 10 Commandments. And the Georgia Supreme Court told this judge, you can't have the 10 Commandments in your courtroom. That's a public setting. That's a religious symbol. Remove it. And he said no, and then he got fired. Now, judges don't get fired. They get impeached or removed. And he was removed. Well, if a judge can't have the 10 Commandments in a courtroom, then you cannot have the words under God in a pledge, which is said in a school. Did you follow that logic? If it's not okay over here, it can't be okay over here, which you agree with because you're in this column. So in that, what you're doing is you're saying, here's an example of where religion is not allowed in a public setting, and then tell me the story of that judge, and then come to the conclusion. If the judge can't have the 10 Commandments in his courtroom, then the words under God cannot be in a thing said in a school. See, you're saying because of this. All right, those of you who are agreeing, any questions? I'm going to kind of let you write that little story, and then don't forget, you got to say, well, because it's true here, it should also be true in schools. Those of you who are agreeing, do you know what you're doing? Why are you on your phone again? You promised you'd be the man. Are you the man or not? You the man? You the man. Okay. Now, those of you who disagree, you need to write this sentence. However, he's wrong. You just got done explaining what Nuda means. And now you're going to say, but he's wrong. Now, what we need is an example that shows that there are other situations where you see religious affiliated things, and it's okay in that, so it should be okay in the pledge. And I give you the U.S. quarter. Anyone have a quarter on? Anyone have a quarter? Or actually any currency at all? A dollar bill? Any currency at all will do. I promise I'll give it back. All right, we're getting some cash here. You know you're never getting this back.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. Right on the back. Right on the back, you know what it says? In God we trust. In God we trust. And did you know even Muslims can use this? Muslims can use money. Their hand does not burn when they touch the. Woo! Well, I'm a Muslim.
Because everyone loves money.
Huh?
Everyone loves money.
Well, okay, fine. The point, though, is this. There's this religious affiliated word on currency, and it's just fine. Well, if it's okay, follow this logic. If it's okay there, then it should be okay in the pledge. You see what you did? You're doing the opposite of what these people are doing. These people are saying, but if it's not okay there, then it can't be okay in the pledge. What you people are doing is saying, if it's okay in currency, it should be okay in the pledge. So tell me that little story. Those of you going with this one. Joe, I interrupted you. What do you want to say?
Oh, no, I was just saying, people don't complain about it being on money because everyone loves money. It saves money, it's a necessity.
Yeah.
And I would actually probably argue, I bet there is someone who doesn't like the words in God we trust on money.
Well, I mean, the thing with that is you can always reprint money. Like they change currency sometimes.
Yeah, you can change the pledge too. They did it in 1954. Good.
Should I put that argument in mine? And
Do you agree or disagree with this argument?
I disagree with it, but should I put it in and then give my opinion? Nick?
Your opinion is that the word should not be removed.
What she's saying is
You think they should be removed. Well, then you're doing this one.
she wants to know if she can use that point to strengthen her argument, being like, why isn't anyone talking about this?
No, I wouldn't do that because I would stick with this column. Okay. Another thing you could do if you want to be different is point out, do you remember what the endorsement test was? It was one of the tests that the Supreme Court used. The words under God is not an endorsement of any religion. They're just words. Okay? You could go with that one if you want. The example being the endorsement test. It's really up to you. I don't care. So once again, now this might take you 3-4 sentences, maybe, right? You're telling a story, and then ultimately you're saying, well, if it's okay here, it should be okay there, or you're saying, well, if it's not okay here, it's not okay there. Here you're saying if it's okay here, it's okay there. Here you're saying, oh, it's not okay here, it shouldn't be okay there. That's sort of the last sentence. You got to get the reader to see things from your point of view. Oh, I see. Oh, if it's not allowed there, then why do we have it under God? Or, oh, I see. If it's on currency, then what's the big deal? Then what's the big deal about the words under God? Okay. When you're done with that little story, by the way, this is all the same paragraph, right? You haven't started over. You're just continuing on in this paragraph, I hope. Will you just give me a thumbs up when you're done? Okay. Well, the context, just a sentence that says, the Constitution requires a separation between church and state. Right? Just to give the reader an idea of what you're talking about. The Constitution requires a separation between church and state. And then, do you know what to do with the rest? The red cards?
Yeah.
Coming over if you're sorry. We are almost done with this paragraph. We only have something called synthesis and then something called transition. Okay? Yeah.
After first resistance, we were paying words for everyone.
Oh, don't say documenting. So I'm just going to fix this. So, where's your quote? So we're going to. The sentence is great. You just forgot the red part. See the red part of it?
Yeah.
So what you need to do is say who's the speaker. The speaker is Michael Ludow. So type Michael Ludow. Michael Ludow, comma. Now, who's Michael Ludow? He is the founder of the First Adventist Church of True Science. So go ahead and say founder of the blah, 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 True Science. Y'all are writing this paragraph. There should be a direct quote in there, right? The red part. The quote. There should be word for word part of document A. Then after the footnote, which is the number 8 in parentheses, you then say what you think Ludow is saying. UW believes that. Then you're giving an example proving or disproving his claim. Yep, and then said. A lot of comments. Quote. Right now, this sentence right here, starting with the word thus, all the way to the word mandates. Just retype it, end quote, and then what you got there is pretty good. Anyone else? I'm happy to help. There's no judgment here. Don't feel dumb. Crazy. I guess you are in this class. We had a theory that you're not really.
Honestly, I think that I have some conversations. What? I looked at my emails from this. And what do you mean document?
The document sheet that I gave you. Is and it's him saying that the words under God should not be in the Constitution because it violates the Constitution. That last sentence, because it was thus all the way to mandates. So now you started over, but you really should. This is paragraph number 2. Actually, something really should be given in the Constitution. That's awesome. It's the same paragraph.
Okay.
Right. Now, okay, so before you explain what he means, you need to put the quote. First of all, who he is and what's his credibility. So Michael Newdow, founder of the First Adventist Church of Christ, said that sentence, and then in parentheses the number. Look at this little checklist right here. I need speaker, speaker's credibility, the quote he said, and then the number 8. Call me back over. We're in Mountain View this tomorrow. Yeah, I heard they have only 4 pounds. Is it rebuilding? Where's that?
Round 2, I think, is only high school.
I don't know.
I don't think it's okay.
No, we're Saturday. Yeah.
Definitely doing this week. I was trying to separate the sentences in case I was going to add stuff to them. But now I just myself. Is that all we're adding? Or are we adding to the sentence?
I'm not sure what's going on here. So this is your 4th paragraph. And you say, first of all, some people will violate the Constitution. Where's the reason?
Oh, I don't know the reason.
Yeah, but it's got to be part of the first sentence, right? The first reason is that the words are in the Constitution.
That should be the first part of the.
That should be in the topic sentence.
Topic sentence.
It should be the first sentence of the paragraph. The first reason, some people, do you think the word should be removed? Yes. The first reason the word should be removed is that the words are unconstitutional. That should be your topic sentence. That should be your first sentence of the paragraph.
So,
You should be stating the reason why it should be removed in your first sentence. And then, context. This is where you say that the Constitution requires a separation between church and state. And then the red part, Michael Newdow says, thus follow the law, footnote. And then you explain what you mean.
so the first sentence.
I told you what the first sentence was. The first reason the word should be removed is the words are unconstitutional. That's your first sentence. Okay. I'll come back. Okay. Now, we won't worry about synthesis for now. There's 1 sentence left. Okay. I'll just tell you, and then the rest of the hour, those of you working on cults, you can be working on that. There are many of you who are not done, including Gracie. You're not done with the test that was due Wednesday. You're not done. You started, but you didn't finish.
Yeah.
So that's an option. And then maybe some of you are kind of struggling with this. Please call me over. I will sit with you. We'll fix it. I promise. Okay. 1 sentence left, and that is the transition. And it goes like this. For this column, because A is true, B is true. Now, don't type that word for word, but that's the idea. For this column, because some people mistakenly believe A is true, They argue that B is true. Now, if you know what you're doing, do it. But if you don't, listen. Ready? I'm pointing at these people. Is that you? Because the words violate the Constitution, comma, the word should be removed from the pledge. Period. I'm now talking to you people. Is this you? Because some people mistakenly believe the words violate the Constitution, comma, they argue that the word should be removed from the pledge. Period.
Is that one?
Which one?
That one, right one.
Because some people mistakenly believe the words violate the Constitution, comma, they argue the words should be removed from the pledge, period. Okay? All right, very good. 25 minutes-ish of you researching cults. Actually, let me just cover a little bit of religion. I forgot. I did want to cover a little bit of religion, just a few things. Won't take long, 5 minutes. And then you'll have the rest of the hour. Okay, so give me a minute. I wanted to cover a little bit of content. Oh, and I forgot. I wanted to give anybody a chance at sharing your divine stories. If that. Okay. Give me 5 minutes. Promise. Won't be more than 5 minutes. Ready? Anyone know what we're looking at? And don't tell me a guy falling down a set of stairs. Yes, I know that.
Like a sacrifice or something?
Very good. It is a sacrifice. Does anyone know which group we're looking at here? Go ahead.
Aztec?
The Aztec. That is exactly right. A great way of telling the difference between your ancient Egyptian temples and your Central American or South American temples. Anyone know? You look at it and say, that's an Egyptian temple. You look at it and say, that's an American temple. How do you know? Go ahead. Very good. The Egyptians were smooth and the Americans were steady. Very good. Is that what you guys were going to say? Yeah, I figured that. So what the Aztec would do is they're very warlike. They were very aggressive. They were really an empire. And what they did was they conquered their enemies, captured their enemy soldiers, took them to the top of the temple, cut out their hearts, cut off their head, threw the body down. Sometimes they cut off the head, sometimes they didn't. Threw the body down the stairs. By the way, the entire Aztec city was there, Tenochtitlan, right? And then they threw the heart into the temple because there was a huge fire in the middle and offered it to the fire god. And because of that, they had plentiful crops and wonderful weather, and they always won their wars because they sacrificed their enemies' hearts. Now, you and I would say, no, they had nice weather because of the climate. They won wars because they had big spears, and right? But they believed it. They believed it, so they did it. This is ritual. They practiced cannibalism. They ate. Now, before any of you are looking at cannibalism and saying, savages, allow me, now, please don't go home and say, Mr. Cotterfield and we're cannibals. You just relax. But Christianity is based somewhat on cannibalism. You eat the body and blood of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. That's cannibalism. Sort of, right? Now you'd say, well, yeah, but it's bread and wine. Okay. So it's symbolic cannibalism, and this is literally, I'm eating his thumb. Okay, I get the difference. Okay. Interesting note here, and then we're done. This is saying that just because a society has religions, that doesn't make it a moral society. What they did was, sociologists studied this stuff. And what they did was they looked at American communities that were very religious. Everyone goes to church on Sundays. And then they compared it to American communities where church attendance was really low. So this community in my right hand, very high church attendance. This community in my left hand, very low church attendance. And they compared crime rates. And guess what they found?
People that the community that goes to church had more crimes.
Maybe not more, but just as much, right? The crime rate's the same. You go to church and then you cheat on your wife. You go to church and then you lie on your taxes. You go to church and then you go to a movie and you tell your kid, I know you're 13, but right now you're 12. And then you walk in, right? Because you saved a few bucks. That's lying. And church members do it as often as non-church members. The point of this is that just because you have religion, that doesn't make you a moral society, necessarily. It might. Religion might be very important to some of you in this room. It makes you a better person. Great. But a whole lot of times, it doesn't. It's a permission slip so that you can get away with things. Oh, I couldn't have. You think I did that? Nah, I'm a church-going man. And they get away with things. So, okay. All right. No taking. Does anyone have a story? I thought of a few others, but I don't want to hog the limelight.
Story of one.
Have you ever seen or felt the divine?
Like God?
For you, it might be God.
Yeah.
Anything specific?
Yeah, this is actually really scary. So I was like in my car. Okay, you guys probably aren't gonna believe me. Probably, I don't know. It's really weird though, and it's really scary.
Okay, before you continue, let me just make a couple comments. Number one, what's talked about in this room is respected. I don't want anyone during lunch today saying, oh, you should have heard Gracie. No, I will do that in the teacher's lounge, but of course I will, right? We respect what's in here. And then number two, I don't know if you were here yesterday. The point of this is that we all could explain away what you're about to tell us and say, well, it's because whatever. But we're missing the point. If you do that, you believed it. That's what matters, right? I shared the story of my wife whose grandmother died, and the dog wouldn't leave the spot where grandmother died, and she believed it was because grandma's spirit was still there, and I suggested that there was actually a slice of cheese there. The dog liked cheese, and my wife didn't like that very much, right? The point was she believed it. That's what matters. Go on.
Okay, so this is like one night I was like really like restless and feeling super anxious. So I was like, okay, I'm just gonna watch the message on church I missed. So I went on, blah blah blah. Anyways, it's about like the armor of God and how like God's gonna protect you from all evil or whatever. And so then I was like, okay. So then like a couple of weeks passed, and I was like, okay. I was sitting in my car and I turned the radio off, and I was like, okay, God, I want you to talk to me. Talk to me right now. I was like being like so sassy and persistent. I was like, I've tried to do this before and you never talked to me, so I want you to talk to me right now. And then it was like literally so weird. It was so scary. It was like Ephesians, and I was like, what is that? Like I literally don't know what this is.
You heard the word Ephesians?
No, it was like in my head.
In your head was the word Ephesians.
Yeah, but I was like, I don't know what this is. So then it was like Ephesians 6:11-18. And I was like, okay, I don't know what this is. But then it said like 6:11-18. So I was like, okay, maybe that's like a book in the Bible. So then later I looked it up and it was talking about the armor of God. So then I was like really freaked out, and it was like so weird. Like it was not me because I didn't know what that was. And it was like,
Okay.
It was like really, I was actually scared. Like
Great.
my body was shaking.
Hey, so again, a cynic might say, you heard it one day in church and it popped into your head and that's why. But you're missing the point. She believed it. That's the point. She believed it was real. So for her, it is real. It is divine because she believed it. Anyone else? How's your chance? Let's let others share.
This one isn't about Isabel friend though.
Let's let others share. Go ahead.
First, some background, before I tell my story, the Dakota Indians believe that the eagle, bald eagle, was a messenger to like God and stuff.
Okay.
So when my cat Strange died,
Your cat is named Strange.
yeah, she
Awesome.
like when she was a kid, her head was crooked. Her
So she was
stomach-
strange.
Yeah, it was crazy. And so when she died, we like buried her in the backyard, and then like an hour later, like me and my mom were outside, and we heard an eagle call, and we were just like, oh my gosh.
So what did you think? What did you think that meant?
That meant that string is gonna be okay.
Very good. So again, a cynic would say, no, it was an eagle. It found a mouse, and it was like, sweet, a mouse. You're missing the point. The point is you believed it. So whether it's real or not is irrelevant. You believed it was real. That makes it real. One more. If not, fine. You got under 15 minutes to finish this paragraph, work on 4 tests. If you want, find some stuff on cults. Off you go. Does anyone need some? You need some. You need some.
I accidentally clicked submit, and then so I got
Do it again.
0.
Do it.
But I can't. We have to like reset something.
Okay. So let's take a look at what we're doing. This is the second paragraph. Is this piece of paper just one paragraph, or is this supposed to be the whole
Going to
thing?
be. I was just trying to split it up so I.
Where's your first paragraph? Where's the paragraph that should look like this?